Welcome to Puvanur RVIR Laya Academy of Music and Mathematics. Welcome to Puvanur RVIR Laya Academy of Music and Mathematics. We are in level 3 in 35 Thalas sessions. And I have started off with Misra, Jathi, Jampa, Thalam in the last class. We saw a different variety of how to play Tadindina in 3 different formats. Hope you have all practiced all the formats. It's very important that when you practice all these formats and you express it in the structure, you get a firm grip of these advanced concepts. That's important. So what all we saw in the last class? Ta din din na, ta ta din din na, ta din din na, kedataka din din na, kedataka din, kedataka dagadimi. So this is the way of beautifully twining the ta din din na nicely, aesthetically with ups and downs in a normal adapting format from Adithalam. The second way what we saw was split the 10 into 2 parts, 5 and 5, dissected it exactly half, and then we approached ta kita tak din din na, ta din din na, don tak tak din din na, din din na, ta kita tak din din na, ta din din na, don tak din din na, kada taka taka. Like this, we saw this is one of the elements of how to approach the structure. Then you have to play the reduction, you have to play the Tirmanam. That form we saw. The third form is more complex. As it was Misra Jathi, we took a 3.5 beats. So 3.5 combined together made it 7. Ta-din-na, ta-din-din-na, ta-ta-din-na, taka-din-din, da-tam. The pause gave a beauty there. It perfectly landed in Anudrutam. And then you take off with the phrase. So it's very easy when you give a complex start, that there comes an ease as well. That's the beauty here. The ease is you land up and then you play the phrase. You get a time to recover back to play the phrase with emphasis. So that structure we saw, and then you have to play all the sequences in this format right from beginning to end, and then try to play the Tirmana. The Tirmana approach also I've dealt with in an ascending format and a descending format, considering the vanilla form. What is it that we saw in the vanilla form? Tatakita taka din din tat tam, tatakita taka din din tat tam, tatakita taka din tat tam. We saw the ascending din ta tham, din ta tham, din ta tham. Descending din ta tham, din ta tham, din ta tham. This also we saw. So you can use for, this is only a concept. So when I tell you a concept, you can use this concept for any phrase. So if you have learned 100 phrases, 100 phrases can be played like that. So that's the beauty of it. When you know, you learn conceptually, that way you can approach it to its entirety. Today we are going to move forward with dhimi taka dhimi dhimi taka and taka dhimi tata dhimi, the sequence 2 and 3, how we did in Adithalam. I'm going to convert it a little differently, something very similar what we saw for Tadindina. And before I start that, I will start with the Thirukural. எம்மையுள் எம்மை விருந்து ஒராள் வன்மையுள் வன்மை மடவார் பொறை வறுமையுள் வறுமையானது விருந்தினரை பேணாமல் நீங்குதல் அதுபோல வல்லமையுள் வல்லமையானது அறியாமையால் தீங்கு செய்தவரை பொறுத்தல் என்பதாம். So what does Thiruvalur say? The most poverty, the very poor, if one can be categorized to be very poor if you don't host a guest who visits your house. It's likewise, if you don't show patience for the people who abuse you, and that is also not acceptable. What Thiruvalur says, the highest quality for a person is to show patience even if a person abuses you. So that is the greatest vallamayin vallamayul vallamai, the most powerful quality, and that's what you should try to imbibe. I think with this good thought, let's get into the class. So taka dimmi dimmi taka dimmi dimmi taka dimmi dimmi taka gadataka. We saw this form in Adi Thalam. This traditional way I will try. What did I do? Taka dimmi dimmi taka tata dimmi dimmi taka dimmi dimmi taka tata dimmi dimmi taka gadataka taka dimmi dimmi tata dimmi dimmi taka dimmi dimmi taka gadataka dimmi dimmi gadataka taka dimmi dimmi taka tata dimmi dimmi taka dimmi 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 taka taka dimmi dimmi taka So it's like the force of water gushing out in the rain. Somehow. It should be like that. The phrases should be like a chalanga mari every jump. You should get that feeling when you play. Like that you should play. So this is a traditional way of doing it. That is from Adi Thalam to Misra Jampa Thalam. Now let's look differently. Again the 5 split. Dimmi dimmi taka dimmi dimmi taka dimmi dimmi taka dimmi dimmi tata dimmi dimmi taka gadataka. Beautiful split. Because the moment when you are forming a new pattern, you should ensure that it should be within a smaller frame. When you make it half, dissect it 5 is easier to approach. So it's easier to approach, then you can play with a lilting phrases, lilting approach. Dimmi dimmi taka dimmi dimmi taka dimmi dimmi taka dimmi dimmi tata dimmi dimmi taka. So what did I do? It's a combination of Rupakam phrase. Dimmi dimmi taka 3 beats. Taka dimmi dimmi taka Adi Thalam phrase. So again 3 and a 4 makes it 5. Pythagoras, 3 square, 4 square, 5 square. Beautiful, it's mathematics, so it has to apply. You should get it perfectly. So when you think about a 10, you see how quickly, how we can narrow it down and how you can play a beautiful pattern creatively. That's the approach you should get. So when you approach in this format, it's something like Ganda Chapu Thalam. You can play any Ganda Chapu. Even you can actually, if you want another leaflet of how to play Misra Jampa, is just to play your Ganda Chapu Thala completely in Misra Jampa Thala. You can do that. Din kittu taka din na, din din tata din na, donta kittu taka din na, din gata din gata gata everything. You can play, perfectly can play. That's the beauty of it. Once when you have conceptualized, when you can understand how to adapt it to a particular form, you can easily do. Again, Misra Jampa, it's 7 and a 3. So you can play Misra Chapa and a Rupaka Thalam combination. You can play 7 plus 3 is 10 because Rupakam you know, it's 3 beats. Misram you know, 7 beats. You can play sandwich together, but when you sandwich, it's important that it should have a beauty, it should have a rhythm, it should have a progression, it should have a combination, there should be a grammar in it, so many aspects has to be there. You cannot just like that combine. So all these you have to ensure and then think about it and get into your structure and then play. So what you need to learn here is this perspective, try to play 5-5. Dhimi dhimi taka dhimi dhimi taka taka dhimi dhimi taka dhimi dhimi tam tam dhimi dhimi tak taka tagadigu tagadigu tagadigu. The reduction part dhimi dhimi taka dhimi dhimi taka tagadigu 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 5. Dhimi dhimi tam tam dhimi dhimi taka tagadigu 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 5. So 5-5 you have split and then you can play the Tirmanam. Perfectly it sets. Again, here there is a beauty where you can improvise it. One tagadigu, next 2, and then next 3. So it's an ascending. You can always do the reverse part. 3, 2, 1. Finally, the crescendo will be like a thunder playing, it lands like that. So this is how you have to approach the taka tat dimi taka dimi dimi taka dimi dimi taka. Okay, this is one form. Then let's also look at the similar way of tat dimi taka taka dimi dimi taka taka dimi taka tata dimi dimi taka tam taka taka digu 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 dimi taka taka dim dimi taka ta dimi taka tata dimi dimi taka dim digu 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 dimi taka taka dimi dimi taka taka digu dimi taka taka digu dimi dimi taka tam digu 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 dimi taka taka digu 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 taka dimi taka taka digu 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 tam. So it's again a combination of ta dimi taka, taka dimi dimi taka, 1.5 and 2, 1.5 and 2, making it beautifully 7. Ta dimi taka, ta dimi dimi taka, taka dimi taka, taka dimi dimi taka. That's where you get the cut for the 7. Thumb is a pause. And then you go with a lot of force on the phrase. When you get to go with the lilt, with a pattern, with a pause, go with the phrase with a lot of enforcement because you get the gap. Even when you breathe, when a person is singing, when there is, you have to hold the breath at a right point, and you have to use your breath for the entire phrase, and then you have to take the breath and then deliver the next phrase beautifully. That's how even music here in Mridangam also. When you are getting a pause, you use the next part of it very effectively with a lot of energy. So with this, I'm going to demo this part of it, and then we'll go into Takadimi Tatadimi form. sequence of doing Takadimi Dimitaka in Misra Jampa Thalam. Again, let's get into Takadimita Tadimi Takadimita Tadim Dimita Tadimi Takadimita Tadim Takadimita Tadim Dimita Tadim Takadimita Tadim Dimita 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 Tadim This is a vanilla way of playing Takadimi Tatadimi in a pattern. Traditional way. I am not played in its full detailed form as you know the form, but you need to play 4-liner, that is the complete 2-paragraph, then reduce it, and then you play the Tirmanam for each of the lessons as you are learning it. When you are learning it, that's the way you should do. Again, you can use the Kanda Chapa format into it and play this particular sequence there. Now let's look this sequence in a different approach. Taka dimi tata dimi tata dim, dimi tata dim, taka dimi tata dimi tata dim, taka dimi tata dimi tata dim, dimi tata dim, taka dimi tata dimi tata dim, taka dimi tata dimi tata dim, dimi tata dim, taka dimi tata dimi tata dim, taka dimi tata dimi tata dim. Dimita tadim, taka dimita tadimita tadim, dimita tadimita tadim, dimita tadim, taka dimita tadimita tadim, dimita tadimita tadim, dimita tadim, taka dimita tadimita tadim, dimita tadimita tadim, dimita tadimita tadim, here, Takatarikataka is fixed, so you cannot make a innovation here. But you can make it, the first Talangadakataka is a 8-beat. So what you can do is make it as a 8-syllabled phrase. You can make a 6-syllabled phrase, 8-syllabled phrase, 10-syllabled phrase, and then you can make innovation here. Six. 8. 10. 6, 8 and 10. When you do it, we get the midpoint 8. So we can do a 6 and a 10 beautifully. Reverse 10 first. This is the vanilla. Reverse. This is the reverse. So, now you know how differently you can twine a thala, give a perspective to the thala with your creativity. These are only the few I am giving you a sample. I want you to try something different. Come to me and see whether you can show me a different structure beautifully and with the logic. If that is acceptable, you can continue to play. Okay? We'll end this class with Thirukural. We'll go with more lessons in the next class in Misra, Jathi, Jampa, Thalam. நிறை உடைமை நீங்காமை வேண்டின் பொறையுடைமை போற்றி ஒழுகப்படும். ஒருவன் நற்குணங்கள் நிறைந்திருக்கும் நிலையிலிருந்து நீங்காதிருத்தலை விரும்புவானாயில் அவன் பொறை உடைமையை போற்றி பாதுகாத்தல் வேண்டும். If a person wants to be blessed with good qualities ever, one of the important aspects he has to observe is patience. பொறை உடைமை. And that's one of the greatest qualities, and if we can imbibe this quality, if we can continue with these qualities, the patience in all transactional events where whomsoever we meet in the society, he is going to be blessed with good qualities. And that's what the Lord says. With this, I'm signing off today. I will see with more explanation on Misra Jampa Thalam in its adaptation, on the forms by which we can work on creative mode in the next class. Pono RVA signing off.